It's finally Friday.
It's Friday, Friday.
Thank God it's
Welcome to the Belmont Stakes edition of the Friday Show, presented by the Match Series. The Mid-Atlantic Thoroughbred Championships, they resume July 13th at Delaware Park. I'm Scott Jagow, along with Ray Paulick. We're glad you could join us from the backyard at Belmont Park. Ray, the weather this week has been great. A little bit of rain, but it looks like the forecast is going to hold up for a great day of racing on Saturday. It's been an adventurous Triple Crown series so far this year, with the DQ and the Derby and then the horse running off in the Preakness. Dare I ask, what might happen on Saturday?
Well, I'm not in the predictions business, actually, but all I can do is hope that we have a great day of racing. They put together a tremendous card here at the New York Racing Association, and that every horse comes back safe. Safety and welfare of the horses has been such a big thing this year. Media spotlight, animal welfare, animal rights groups, and the public are looking at racing in a different light, and we've got to make sure that it's as safe as it can be on Saturday.
Yeah, and it's not just in the media and from these groups that are paying attention to racing more now. It's within the industry. I was at the draw this week, and I kept hearing little conversations going on about this issue. One of them was Johnny Velasquez and Javier Castellano talking with people about it for a good 20-25 minutes. So, you know, Johnny Velasquez is the president of the Jockeys Guild, and I asked him after I heard this conversation going on about the safety issue, and he talked about how it's got to be all the stakeholders in the industry working on this.
We got to do better. And the fact of the matter is, we got to do better. We got to take care of the horses. You know, the horses are our business, and not only our business, it's the core that what horse racing goes around. Whether we have to do medication reform and be more strict on medications, stupid penalties, hold accountable anybody who's in charge of the horses, all those things that's going to make the horse racing safety for the horses and for the riders. Obviously, we are the ones on top of the horses, so those things need to be implemented, needs to be aggressively implemented, so we can go forward from here. And we got to do the best job that we can do to make sure that we stop those kind of traffic injuries in the races, whether it's in the races or in the morning, though, and try to save every horse possible.
Well, it's not just at industry events like this where they're talking about safety, but in the halls of government. A couple weeks ago, there was a hearing in California. Just earlier this week in Albany, legislators held a hearing with pro and anti-racing people. It is out there, and thankfully, New York Racing Association, the State Gaming Commission, take these issues very seriously. Scott Palmer is the equine medical director for the State Gaming Commission. He's put out some very good statistics regarding the safety of racing in New York. They're doing a lot of the things that we should be doing across the whole industry.
Yeah, and New York, of course, had its own situation a few years ago at Aqueduct with all the fatalities that were happening there, and their response was, we're taking a hard look at this, and they made a lot of changes, and kind of what the Stronach Group has done in response to Santa Anita. So it's good to see that these groups are taking all this seriously and trying to get out in front of it instead of reacting, being proactive is what I mean.
Yeah. Earlier this week, I think Parks Racing was accredited for the first time by the NTRA Safety Alliance. I think that's a good thing, because Parks has been one of those outlier tracks that hasn't really been involved. So it's really good to see the industry, but having said that, we're only as strong as our weakest link. Tracks and state regulators that are not doing all these things, equine medical directors, out of competition testing, they've got to get with it.
All right, let's get to the business at hand on Saturday, which is 8 Grade 1 races on this Belmont Stakes card. One of the reasons this festival was created, I think, is for situations like this, where we don't have a Triple Crown on the line. We've had 2 different winners, or 3, however you look at it, of the last 2 races. So they wanted to create a big event day when there really isn't the big event that you're expecting, which is a possible Triple Crown.
Well, it was always a big event day, and then they put the icing on top, or the cherry on top, when they moved the Met Mile to Belmont Day. It used to be on Memorial Day. crowds of 10,000, 15,000 people, maybe would come out and see it. By moving the Met Mile, some people didn't like it. I love the fact that it's on Belmont Day now. You get to showcase these great horses in front of a much bigger audience, television audience. You know, we want to expose our best horses, and this Met Mile, this is a bang-up race.
And it's not just the exposure to the national audience, it's also good business sense to put the Met Mile on Belmont Stakes Day, because the handle's going to be bigger and you can charge a higher percentage. I don't mean takeout, I mean for the simulcast signal. And it's just a financial decision that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, all the 3 Triple Crown tracks all get their bulk of their revenue comes from their biggest day. Belmont's the biggest day at Belmont Park. You should be able to charge more for it. If you bring a race like the Met Mile onto it, it makes good business sense, and there's nothing wrong with that in the horse business.
That's right. All right, let's get to the business of handicapping a couple of these races. I said 8 grade 1s. You got to kind of pick and choose your spots here if you're disciplined. You know, I'm not saying I am, but one horse you like, a couple of races you like, give me something.
Well, there's a lot of chalk in there, I think, but in the Met Mile, which it's such a good race, you know, and you just how's the pace going to play out? I like Promises Fulfilled. He ran okay in Dubai, came back, he hooked up with an Empoli, didn't win. You know, he didn't win. He reversed the post positions this time. He's on the outside. I think it might make a difference. The horse has worked really sharp. I'm looking for Promises Fulfilled at a big price.
That is a really good race. I mean, a 9-horse field. There's hardly any horses to toss. I guess I would lean toward Matoli getting his 7th win in a row. He's stretching out to the mile. But I also like Firenze Fire and think he might be a better value because he's 3 for 3 at Belmont. Yeah, he's going to come from off the pace a little bit. I think there's enough pace on in it. So Firenze Fire probably will be my pick in the Met Mile. I do have a long shot in the Acorn that I like because I think Serengeti Empress, she's very inconsistent as the second choice in this race. I don't know why she's not the favorite. The horse that's the favorite is Guarana for Chad Brown, who's had 1 start. Yeah, she won by almost 15, but I've seen horses like that before. In the slop, thank you. So I'm tossing both of them. I'm looking at a 12-1 long shot named Queen of Bees, trained by Jorge Abreu. She's making her 2nd start since January. I don't think she liked the slop at Churchill Downs in the 8 Bells. I know that there is going to be pace on in this race, and Queen of Bees will be coming late. I think that is a very good pick. That's my pick of the day.
I'm throwing out the 2 favorites in the Belmont. Spinoff is the horse I like. I just think it's a galloper's race. I think he's going to be galloping close to the lead, and he is going to run away with it.
I like Spinoff. I actually liked him heading into the Derby, and I think you could be right there. The pedigree, we'll see, you know, if he's going to get the 12 furlongs by hard spun, but as we talked about previously, you know, it might boil down to just that galloping and that rhythm and the patience by the jockey. I'm going to go with Pletcher's other horse, Intrepid Heart. He's the most lightly raced colt in the field. Johnny V is pretty confident about what this horse can do. He's been green, but gets the blinkers. Hopefully that won't be a disaster. So at Intrepid Heart at 10-1 gets my vote.
If the Pletcher Exacta comes in and we don't have it,
yeah.
This is the last Friday show.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
All right, that is going to do it for the Belmont Stakes edition of the Friday show, presented by the Match Series, which picks up again in July at Delaware Park. Thanks for joining us, and have fun this weekend.